Mike's Daily Podcast.
Oh, a storm is blowing in here.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
To Podcastro Valley 10. Today it's Mike Matthews, and it's a episode. I mean, 2407. That's the name of it, my friend. 2407 is our episode today. My name's Mike.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
A little bit of humor, just a tiny bit, and a little bit of instructional stuff to help you through life.
Mike's
Fascinating things.
Daily
You know,
Podcast.
when people tell you,
Yeah!
when people want fame. We were talking about fame last podcast, about how people try to get fame. Some people want to do it because they want to help out other people. They're pro-social. They want to help out the world. Other people, they're like, nah, I don't like anybody. I just want to be famous so that it'll placate me and help me because I need to be seen. Look at me, look at me, look at me, look at me. And I don't know. I don't think that's the healthiest thing, to have a look at me, look at me. That sort of pay attention to that need for attention. It needs, it's a need that we really don't need, I guess. So there's a lot of ways to tackle that whole thing about trying to see if you need. We all have a deep need for attention of others. When other people look at us, when they listen and value us, we feel good. And some people are addicted to that. Even aggressive or punitive attention may be better than no attention for some people. And here we are.
And here's today's podcast picture.
We're at Cafe Anyway, somewhere in Podcastro Valley, the last place on our Podcastro Valley 10. A storm is coming in, and people are starting to go, oh, I guess they weren't lying when they said we were going to have a storm. We're going to have a little rain here in California. It didn't sound exactly like we needed that it was going to be happening. That's right, late great Basil the Boxer. And, you know, people get the whole reason why social media is alive is because of the need for attention. And somebody wrote this article, Renee Kapuku. This is from medium.com. And I'll get to the podcast picture in a moment, but we live in a weird world. I often find myself thinking about what a person from 150 plus years ago might say about our generation. Would they be in awe? Or would they be horrified? Probably a mix of the both. It's exciting and bleak, and no doubt the bleakness level rises the further and further we hurtle into the future. And the core propellants are the now everyday titans: Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, TikTok. Don't get me wrong, I love social media. It helped me connect with new friends and stay in touch with old ones. It's helped me build my brand and reach a wider audience. It's helped me stay updated and local, regional. It helped me keep up on local, regional, and national news. Yet the greater the capacity for good, the greater the harm is done when wielded for evil. And at the root of the evil of social media is the crippling desire for attention. Your need for attention online is slowly killing you, says Renee Kapuku. Softly in some cases, rapidly in others. Whether you're an Instagram influencer with thousands of followers, a YouTuber with millions of subscribers, or even an avid Twitter user with under 100 followers. That might be me. This one is for you. Let's see, I think I maybe have 20 subscribers on YouTube. People are nasty online. That is the truth. There's nothing about the potential anonymity of social media that compels people to turn nasty. There is something about it, rather. Troll accounts have been set up with no other intention than to spew controversial and hateful speech. Fake accounts have been drummed up to tear down brands and collectives. Anonymous pages have been created just to target and bully other users. Even worse is when people are actively nasty as their entire brand. Social media is a dog-eat-dog world. People have built entire careers off of being a racist, classist, sexist, deliberately obtuse, xenophobic, you name it. They're attention seeking. If you aren't careful, the need for attention can drive you to become a hateful figure online. Social media causes dissatisfaction with your real life. When the wind of reality blows, the entire house falls. And looking for attention on social media is like building a house made of straw. The problem with seeking attention from strangers online is that you can receive it in abundance, unregulated dopamine shots straight into your brain. But what goes up must come down, and when you realize that the momentary love you receive online doesn't always translate in person, you leave room for despair to creep into your reality. We, when we're on social media, present the highlight reel of our lives. Whole social fantasies, from adjusting our cellulite and waist with an editor or posting our holiday pictures back to back. Other people can escape their realities to enter your fantasies. You have to live full-time in your reality to create part-time fantasies, an endless cycle of creation, whilst much of the real day-to-day elements of your life die. Comparison is the thief of joy. Well put. Renee Capuco, by the way, is a straight-talking Londoner with a passion for personal growth. And I will end it on this, that she says, seeking attention online will inevitably lead to needless comparison. I have a t-shirt, and I've worn it many times. It's a little too tight for me now. I need to lose a little weight, but on it says something, may your life be as interesting as you claim that it is on Facebook. Because people, they put the best. Oh, and the way people take pictures of themselves. And remember when they used to do the fake lip thing? Ugh. The pouty lip, and they open their eyes really wide. They want to Kardashianize themselves. As we go outside a cafe anyway, we're bringing you Mike's Daily Podcast. Somewhere in Podcaster Valleyton, the last place on earth. Renee concludes by saying, you'll be wondering why someone else is getting more engagement than you, or why they're getting more shares. You'll be wondering why someone else is more socially acceptable in the social media universe than you. And suddenly you lose sight of your self-worth and integrity because of what you've seen online. Don't be fooled and don't compare. We often only see a fraction of people's lives, and to judge the entirety of your existence on a 140-character tweet or in an Instagram photo is a recipe for psychological disaster. Attention seeking is already a problematic trait in people. When taken to social media, it becomes destructive. The need for validation in the form of vanity metrics will slowly kill you until the day you realize you are no longer relevant online. Renee concludes, I just pray that you realize this isn't the case offline. And thank you, Renee, for writing that. She, by the way, has over 1,000 followers, but I don't know what they're following her on. Oh, I guess on this website, medium.com. Fascinating. In other news, remember that whole thing about the election being fake because some particular person lost it and won't let it go? Chris Wallace says Fox's problem with the truth made staying unsustainable. Explaining his decision to leave the network, former Fox News anchor Chris Wallace told the New York Times, I just no longer felt comfortable with the programming at Fox. He already stood out at Fox as an anchor who did not always push the blinding pro-Trump narrative favored by many at the channel, but Wallace said in an interview published today that he knew it was time to leave when people at the network began to question the truth. I'm fine with opinion, conservative opinion, liberal opinion, but when people start to question the truth, who won the 2020 election, was January 6th an insurrection, I found that unsustainable. This according to Yahoo.com in an article actually pulled from Rolling Stone from Peter Wade. One clear example of Fox programming questioning the truth is Tucker Carlson's documentary Patriot Purge, which aired on Fox's streaming platform and pushed the baseless conspiracy theory that the January 6th insurrection was a false flag operation intended to demonize conservatives. Wallace confirmed to the Times that he went to Fox News management to express his discomfort with the Patriot Purge. In November, NPR's David Folkenflik reported that both Wallace and anchor Brett Baer shared their concern about the documentary with Fox News Media CEO Suzanne Scott and Jay Wallace, president of News. Two commentators at the network also resigned over the film. Wallace says, before I found it was an environment in which I could do my job and feel good about my involvement at Fox, before that's how he felt, but since November of 2020, that just became unsustainable, increasingly unsustainable as time went on. Now, just shout out the word now. Tell me how it feels. Just say it. Just do it. Did it feel good? Just say now. Finally, Genesis will not turn it on again. Turn it on. Turn it on. Turn it on again. Peter Gabriel, by the way, went to the final Genesis concert. That's awesome. Genesis won't turn it on again, staging that was billed as its final concert last night at London's O2 Arena. Phil Collins, the group's former drummer, lead singer since, late 70s, early 80s, was joined by keyboardist Tony Banks and guitarist Mike Rutherford. Peter Collins, that was that other guy. Wasn't he he wrote musicals and stuff? Phil Collins, age 71 and increasingly frail with back and hip issues, sat center stage throughout. He was in good humor, though, reportedly quipping at one point that he'll now need to find a real job after the band's demise. The Last Domino ? Tour came after a 14-year live performance hiatus. It was also postponed during the pandemic. The group's final tour included concerts in England last September and in North America last fall, concluding with another 14 concerts in Europe and in England. The trio were joined on the tour by Collins' son Nick, who also filled in for his father behind the kit during his recent solo tours. Longtime touring member Daryl Stuermer returned on guitar and bass, joined by Daniel Pierce on backing vocals and percussion, Patrick Smith on backing vocals and tambourine. Daryl Stuermer, he gets mentioned if you ever see the music video to Billy Don't You Lose My Number, Phil Collins from his No Jacket Required album. That album had something like 4 hit songs off of it, top 10s. But that song, the video is hilarious. It's got the guy who plays Veruca Salt's dad in Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. And in it, the guy is saying, who plays the guitar in the solo here on the song? And this is in the music video. So you're watching the music video with all the theatrics, making fun of other music videos. It's basically all these different people pitching music video ideas to him. And the guy asks, who's doing the guitar solo? And Phil Collins says, Daryl Stuermer. And the guy then says something like, nice sandwich. And there's a joke there. By the way, I watched the music video. I need to rewatch that music video. But the music video to REO Speedwagon's song, One Lonely Night, is a hoot. And it's fun to watch. It was done years and years before Harry Potter. But it's got kind of a Harry Potter vibe. And somebody taken from the past and brought to the future. But in that sense, it was mid-80s New York, I think, is where this knight in shining armor from the Middle Ages gets transported to. And the lead singer, Kevin Cronin, is a wizard that sends him into the future. It's a bizarre video. It was worth watching. Lots of men in drag, for some reason, in that video as well. Genesis first formed in 1967. Became well known in the 70s with Peter Gabriel selling more than 100 million records. Phil Collins became the band's drummer and backing vocalist in 1970 before becoming the lead vocalist in 75 as Gabriel departed for a solo career. So, and it looks like Peter Gabriel was in the audience, possibly. Wow. Well, that is, the band did not play on. The band is gone. So sad. And in other drummer news, of course, Taylor Hawkins. And it's turning out now that he had a lot of drugs in his system. Something like 10 identifiable drugs. Yikes. Well, it's an interesting world, isn't it? As I look at the sky, it grows increasingly dark outside a cafe anyway, somewhere in Podcastro Valleyton, the last place on earth. Yikes. Let's all join hands. Let's all think of community and think of positive things and think less about ourselves and more about our friends. But don't forget, don't spend all your time working for, the people that provide help and services to a relative, and all they do is help for another person, and they lose track of themselves. So it's good to also think about yourself. But find a happy medium, right? Is that what I'm saying? I think so. Look outside a cafe anyway. Look who it is! Hello, my commercial. It's Madame Rootabega, and I love it when it gets stormy. Oh! You're only happy when it rains? Yes. You're only happy when the something song Garbage? Yes. You love Shirley Manson? No. She was with the band Garbage. Look who else is here.
Hello there, Mike. This is Valentino. Paying attention.
And it's Bison Bentley. Do that.
Mike, that's really cool what you were talking about today. I really enjoyed the topic.
Yeah, topic. Do that. Great, guys. Next show, it'll be the wonderful Chely Shoehart, Floyd the Floorman, John Deere the engineer. Chime in, talk, chime away. Ding, 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 ding. And ring the bell for the subscription, blah, 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 YouTube channel. In other words, cafe anyway. Share with your friends. Oh, yeah, you can call me. 336-MM Daily. 3 + 3 = 6. MM as in Mike Matthews. Daily as in what this podcast has been.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at mikesdailypodcast.com. Email Mike now at mikesdailypodcast@gmail.com. See you tomorrow. Bye!